Yes, I listened to your stuff today, and it's quite hard to define into a genre. It's almost like if Pink Floyd was raised on indie. That was kind of the vibe I got from it. Do
Yeah,
you do you think you take more influence from like this century or the last one?
I'd
Tough
say that's a
question.
tough question. Um, I think any piece of music that affects you emotionally is what I'd like to make music from. Like there's music that came out this year that I think is as good as music that came out last century or whatever. But I do think sonically older music has something to it that like modern music doesn't have. Like if you for whenever I'm listening to mixes, like people that are mixing rock music today, I think try and compete with other kinds of music like dance music or whatever. So the the drums in old music doesn't sound as heavy as dance music, but I think it has way more impact because it's just like it fits with the groove more. So I think sonically, I like influenced by like older sounds, but in terms of like the music, it doesn't matter when it came out. Like if it's good music, you know.
And it tends to be more dynamic as well
Yeah,
because
dynamic.
of that fact that you said earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but
Do you try and combat that and go against that in the stuff that you're making, the kind of new production techniques?
it's. I just remember when I was recording drums for like the EP last year, I was just like listening to all the songs where I love the drums on it, and I realized there's this kind of thing. If you think of a song that you love and you try and imagine the sound of it, if you really love it, it sounds like huge. Like every aspect of it sounds massive. But if you actually listen to the drums, sometimes it's not. It's just the feeling. The feeling it gives you is massive. You know what I mean? So I don't. Yeah. Well, what was the question again?
The first one was, do you take more influence from this century or the last one?
I don't. I'd say bits of both maybe.
We don't discriminate.
In terms of genre as well, do you think that's something that still is important today, or do you not think it kind of holds the same standing that maybe it once did?
What do you mean? What is important? The
Like genre as a concept, and in terms of,
oh,
do you think we need it anymore, or?
well, you need it for making playlists and archives and kind of creating some kind of sense out of all the music. But I think listeners and obviously musicians are a lot more. They have their fingers in different pies and that kind of things, and they listen to different kinds of things,
Yeah.
just like you and I do. We both listen to hip hop and dance music and all kinds of
Yeah.
music.
I think genre's good. It gives you a really strong sense of identity. So, like, if you really want to make doom metal, you can sit in this world, and it's great because you're like honoring the tradition and carrying on the tradition. And if you want to do a mix, that's also fine. I think like if your music's not really in a genre, you can. It's not like you hate genre. It's like you just don't want to have it in a certain area. But I think genre's like it's good if you want to listen to a certain kind of music, and then like you said, it's like archived.
Yeah,
Yeah,
identity.
yeah.
Good point.
And this project, this project that you guys work in, it started off as like a lo-fi bedroom thing, but it's now kind of grown out and transcended that a bit. How does it compare now with the full band to what it originally was as a lo-fi bedroom? What's the kind of...
Good question. It's similar in a lot of ways, but different. So, the first song, our first single, Abyss, when we first met as a band, like a year ago now, the first time we like jammed the song for the first time. It was already like mixed and mastered the time we all met, which is really weird because most bands like jam and then gig the song and then you record it. So it's like kind of the exact opposite way.
Had you done that entirely yourself?
Yeah, like the EP, I was all like finished nearly by the time the band had met. And then in terms of writing, So once the band came together, the songs that I wanted to bring to the band was like, because some of the EP is pretty depressing, and it was like pretty sad. And I was kind of thinking, if I was to ask someone like Vili to be in the band, like, do I want just to offer like this kind of sad music? Or so basically it kind of forced me to write music that was more social, or like more like it would be more fun to gig basically. So the music that we've written, that I've like brought to the band, has definitely been slightly more like fun. Like, you know, there's quite a lot of fun songs in the set.
Yeah.
So that's kind of changed like my approach. There's still like I still write like abroad, like the depressing stuff's like the most fun songs, music to write. But now like we're going to the studio next month, and the way I used to do it with the EP was like record the drums in the studio and just do everything in my room. And now the plan is to get Vili and Callum to go into the studio and do the drums, and I'll be sitting there like trying to like not be a perfectionist, but just let them do it, because I think they would be way better at doing it than me anyway. But I still want it to keep that control, so that you can get the sound that sounds like the stuff before. But
yeah, I think what was interesting and cool was that, you know, normally when you start a band, you know, people will tell you, oh, like, let's make this kind of music, or let's make this kind of music. But what was cool with joining Pelican Tusk was that after the first few months, you know, Sam showed me some of the songs that he's been working on that are gonna come out soon, and it was cool to like actually get a concrete idea of what Sam wanted to make. And what was good for me and for him as well was that I really loved what he showed me.
yeah,
And then that made me even more excited and motivated to work hard in this band.
It was nice because I think you were one of the first person that I showed it to, and you liked it. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I was never that impressed by, or never as impressed as I was by that. Coming from someone that I know.
Yeah, thank you. Turn it off. I appreciate it.
How long did it take you to record that original EP, the first EP that's about to come out?
Basically, I started writing it. When was the end of second year? Like 2 years. I started writing it roughly 2 years ago, and then it's just really slow, because I think the good thing about recording this new with incorporating the guys more, it's going to be like faster probably, because I basically had about 12 songs that I went in to do the drums for. Did that for 2 days. So I spent like 2 summers ago, I was like practicing drums like all summer just to get into the studio, and then did the bass and the guitar, and then basically finished like mixing. It took the longest, to be honest. Like everything, like Freak, like our last single was like all the instruments were recorded basically like 6-7 months before it came out. I just was mixing it, and so it took a while. And the only 4 songs, like there's only 4 songs in the EP, so like 12 songs came out to 4 songs, which is like it's quite ridiculous how long it took, but I think it's been worth the wait, I suppose.
Do you think you're a perfectionist? Is that why it takes so long?
Aye. Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of your broader life, what is like the ratio of life to music? How long do you spend making music compared to doing other things in
I
your
can
life?
show you my grades for uni if you want, because it's a good indication. Like, music's definitely the thing that we enjoy doing the most.
Yeah, 100%. I wish I could spend more time on it now, but in the future.
Yeah, we're both in 4th year at uni, so you're supposed to be. Can't speak for you, but supposed to be spending every day like doing uni, but
yeah.
So that emoji, like.
Sorry?
Do you make music every day?
I mean, it's
you
not.
Try to.
Yeah.
But inspiration is a tricky thing, you know. It's like catching lightning in a bottle. Some days you'll be like, oh, yeah, you'll be really motivated, inspired to, write a tune some days. It's just kind of like, whatever, but.
There's different aspects to it as well, so like the recording and mixing is really intense. So like I haven't recorded anything in a long time because I needed to like take a break from it. So like in terms of making music, I haven't done that for a while. But like writing new songs, there's always like little different like compartments in your brain of like that count as like music. So like getting the live band and like organising stuff and thinking of things for the set rather than thinking of like a song we can record next month. Like there's always things that you're thinking about. But
and then also the visual aspect of the band.
It's mostly just like buying clothes and like making sure you look really good all the time and like making your hair look nice and that.
At what point did music like emerge as this obsession that you spend a lot of your time doing?
Writing music or just music in general, playing music and that?
Yeah, in general, yeah.
I guess it would be when I first started playing guitar.
How old are you?
10 years old.
Wow. 5 years ago.
I wish. Yeah, and then.
What do you mean you wish? You wish you were 50?
I wish I was a kid again.
Yeah.
No, but when I first started playing guitar, I loved it, and then I had some phases where I wasn't that into it, and I needed some external motivation to practice and that kind of stuff. And then I think before I came to uni, I didn't have that many peers, musical peers, that I could just play with and relate to on that level. And then coming here and meeting so many talented individuals that are all very motivated to make different kinds of music. I think that has inspired me so much, and that I think reignited the flames of love.
Bright flames.
Bright flames. I don't know about you, Sam.
Yeah, I think I was always really into playing drums, but it's the same thing. Like you go on and off. I think I've always been. If I'm in a band, I'll practice more. So if I'm not in a band where I play drums, I'll hardly practice drums. And then when I started recording music, because it's I spend a lot of time like if I'm like chilling, I'll be on my computer all the time, like on YouTube, just like relaxing. But once you start mixing, it's like it combines like staring at a screen all day, which is like quite addictive, and also music. So once I started getting into recording, it was like pretty bad how long I could spend recording and mixing, because there's no it doesn't feel there's any reason to stop. But yeah, I think definitely seeing other bands do great stuff inspires you, and all the great like you were saying, all the other musicians. It's really cool. Like it's lucky.
I will ask a wee bit about a new single as well, because like structurally it's almost kind of split like into 3 separate parts. How important is structure to your music and your songwriting?
Very.
Yeah, it's important. I think Freak is like it's definitely, the structure of it's pretty mad. I used to think that if you have like an idea for a song, like an A part, which is the same thing over and over, so many parts, so many times I'd like throw that away because I can't think of another part to go with it. So like, it doesn't feel full. But recently I've been thinking like, if it works, like why should you change it? Like I said, a lot of hip hop, and like Solange is really amazing for that, because if you listen to her music, it's the same thing, just a big A part with just like, so like in a way the structure is really important because it's the same, but also like it's the same, like is it a structure, you know what I mean? Because it's just really like the way it moves is really cool. So I think with Freak especially, like the story behind the lyrics, like you really needed a drastic musical background or like change. So the structure is important, but I don't. If it feels good, you shouldn't have to be like, oh, there's not a different part, we need to rearrange the structure. I think it's all just about feeling.
But I always say that you do mull over a structure a lot, and you do think about a lot. Like just before this, we were talking about some songs and having to restructure them and that kind of stuff. So
that's true. Yeah. It is important. Like,
yeah,
but
it's relevant.
It is important. Yeah, to be fair, it is quite important. But
at what point does it enter your songwriting process? Structure.
It never ends.
Yeah.
I think even after a song's recorded, obviously the recorded version of it is there in history. But when you bring it live, it's always evolving, and you always want to change it because you get kind of bored or you notice some things that could be better. And
it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
But songwriting, it kind of just happens. Like if you're writing and you feel like, oh, it could change here, then it could happen. But
or you just you're tired. You're like it's time to move on.
But I think like listening to other people's views on structure is really interesting. Like Ryan from Fabric Bear, he's really like his music's like very. If you listen to Fabric Bear, it's like we got to start straight away, and it's like his music's like you'll get hooked in straight away, which I really think is interesting because I never before he showed me that stuff, I never thought about it as much. So there's like an element of the structure. Should the structure like start straight away really intensely or build up really slowly? And it's fun doing I think it's good doing both things, to like mix it up and stuff. But yeah, it's important. But you can do anything with structure. So that's quite a long answer for structure.
I wanted to pick up on something else you mentioned quite a while back, a few questions ago, where you spoke about the darkness in some of the songs. Is that something you re-experience live on stage when you're playing those songs? Does it come out at all? Do you kind of feel it, or
like the tears?
Not the tears, but just the kind of the emotional place you were when you wrote the song. Does that come back out on stage?
It's sometimes like I think with Freak, the first time we rehearsed it was like quite like it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was dark, but it was definitely really cool just seeing it come together. And like I think dark's like the wrong word because it implies that like it's like unhealthy or whatever. Like I think it's really the parts in the set that are really noisy and like dark. It's like fun. I enjoy those parts, and it makes the sweeter parts sound better as well. So I think it's important to the set.
Kind of contrast in that. On the juxtaposition of that other question, what emotion would you most like your music to evoke from a crowd when you're performing live?
I think ideally, once we put enough music out, recorded, I would think it'd be cool for people to come see us live, and the music's way more energetic than
mosh pits.
I don't know, like mosh pits if that happens, but like so, like there's things that we've added in the set that you would never expect from listening to the live music, which is I think is really cool. But like overall, like if people just come and see us and like enjoy the fast bits and like dance and enjoy the melodies and that, like
it's always nice.
Yeah. But if anyone takes away, like if people hated it, it's like, well, at least you had an opinion on it. It's like I don't really want people to feel a certain way with it, I guess.
At least you've heard of us.
Yeah.
What's more important in the music you make, meaning or emotion?
Ooh. Meaning or emotion? What do you mean by meaning?
Like the context of the songs and the lyrical depth.
Right.
Or the emotion that it evokes.
Right. Okay. Go on.
Well, I would think like when you think of your favorite song, are you first hit by the way it made you feel or the way it made you think? Because I think that's like the difference. You know what I mean?
Well, the first thing that hits me always is the emotion, but then I think if there's a song where I really like the emotion that it gives me, and then I go into the lyrical meaning of it, and then I find out that has depth, or even if it's like not deep, but it still has like, you know, very clever lyrics, and that will make me love it even more. But the first thing is the emotion.
There's songs that I love that I've got no idea what
Yeah.
about. So I'd say probably emotion, but the meaning is important as well.
And there's songs that you know the meaning behind them, but the emotion isn't there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names, but
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.